This to go live streamed. Great. Okay, I think we're live. Hi, Joe. How are you?
I'm very, very, very excited, particularly looking at the number of people who are watching us live
Yeah.
right now. It's a bit mind-blowing.
Me too. It's obviously such a zeitgeist topic. Everyone's interested. I can see we've got people from Argentina, Vietnam, Kyrgyzstan, Ukraine, Germany, Thailand. I'm joining you today from the north of Spain. Where are you, Joe?
So I'm in the UK on the Isle of Wight. So let me know in the chat if you know where the Isle of Wight is, near Southampton in the bottom of England, in the center of the bottom of England. That's where I am.
Yeah, we'd love to know, write us in the comments. Well, I'll tell everyone a little bit about you, Joe. I'm sure loads of people know you from the work that you've done talking about AI and technology. Um, you worked with the British Council as a language consultant, and you've worked for the Association of Language Learning. And personally, I've seen you talk lots of time in conferences online about AI in education, and that's what you're coming to talk to everyone today about. If anyone's interested in knowing more from Joe after this session, he's also got a big Facebook group called Language Teaching with AI. So we'll send that link in the chat for everyone. Well, Joe, we're really excited because I know it's a super practical session. So when you're ready, Joe, it's over to you. I'll be here if you need me. I'll have my camera off, but anything you need, just ask.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for this opportunity, Melissa. I really appreciate it. And thank you for teaching English for this opportunity as well. Uh, Thank you so much, everyone, for finding the time to come along today. I really hope you're going to find the content useful and interesting. It's going to be very practical. I've got the Q&A open as well. The chats I can see already is incredibly busy, but I will be putting in different questions in the or put different questions on the screen for you to then answer accordingly in the session. So as you can see, the session is called How Can AI Enhance Personalized Learning Experiences? And you've heard a little bit about me as well. So let's make a start. Okay, so as an overview, what we're going to be looking at in today's session is how we can use AI for lesson planning, assessment, enhancing listening and speaking skills, differentiated reading, and image accessibility. And all the tools I'm going to be showing you are all completely free or have a free tier. Okay, so that's the idea today. And we've got lots and lots of content. So we're going to start straight away. So I'm sure some of you have been playing around with artificial intelligence. I've certainly attended many, many webinars on this topic, and I've presented many, many times as well. So as you can see, I'm suggesting that AI is reshaping education by making learning experiences more personalized. And we're going to be looking at a number of ways in which we can do that today and to support diversity, which of course is incredibly important. And I'm going to be talking just about free tools and how we can promote accessibility and fairness as well. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. I've been asked to read a statement out from the British Council as well, which I'm just going to do right now. Before using any AI tools, make sure that the relevant people, learners, parents, and school communities know you're using this tool and encourage students not to share any personally identifiable data while using them. Some tools may collect data and some may have age restrictions. For example, ChatGPT requires that children aged 13 to 18 obtain parental consent before using it. Find out what you can about each tool before using it. So that's very, very important. So do bear that in mind whenever you're using any sort of AI tool. Okay. Right. So we're going to start off with good old ChatGPT. There are other large language models which are available, such as Google Gemini, Microsoft Copilot, and Claude. But I'm going to be focusing to start off with on using ChatGPT, and in particular, how we can use ChatGPT to write lesson plans, which I'm sure some of you have been trying already. And what I'm going to do that to help me is I'm going to use this particular tool, which I've got linked here, which is called LLM prompting. And as you can see, it's from MIT. Okay. So the idea of this particular tool is it is a way of improving your prompt as a way of scaffolding it. So what you can do here is, as you can see, it says act like a. So if you ask the LLM to play a role, such as an experienced English teacher, you could put that in there. If you wanted it to produce a lesson plan on a particular topic, you would then write, I need a, You would then put you will, and you'd ask the LLM to produce certain types of tasks, for example. Now, it so happens I've already generated an example for you. So to load this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the three lines here and I'm going to click load. So I saved one I did earlier, but I'm going to click load workspace. I click here and then I'm going to select this one here, okay, and click open. Now, as a result of that, now I appreciate this is quite a lot of information, but as a result of that, you can see the sort of lesson plan prompt which I'm generating. So I've written act like a language teacher for A2 adult learners. I've decided I want to have this lesson plan for adult learners who are working at A2 level English. The lesson plan is on climate change. I'm going to be giving a number of different examples around how we could use the topic of climate change in lessons and in making resources. So we're going to be focusing on basic vocab, simple grammar structures, etc. In the process, you should, that should say ensure, but the LLM will be able to cope with that. That's fine. Avoid complex grammar structures, etc., etc. And then large language models absolutely love an example. So if you give an example like this, then that's fantastic. And what happens is every time you add in a new element into the scaffold, it updates the prompt here. Can you all see? So this is the prompt now, which I'm going to put into ChatGPT, but I could use other large language models that I've mentioned already. So I'm going to click now, copy to clipboard, and I then go into ChatGPT, and all I have to do now is right click and paste it all in. And then from there, I send it in, and then we'll see what then will come up. So I'm using the premium version right now, but it's using ChatGPT 4.0, which works in the free version as well. You have access to ChatGPT 4.0 in the free version, but you just are more limited with the number of messages you can do in a certain amount of time. Okay, so here we are. We've got our lesson plan, and this would, of course, require you to check it thoroughly for editing, the need for editing, for accuracy, for bias, etc. But there we are. So we've got our 10-minute warm-up. We've got listening, reading resources here. Well, so the ideas, it hasn't generated the resources, but I could obviously ask it to make a resource. We've got a speaking practice idea as well, and discussion prompts. And then it's also making us a digital worksheet because that's what I've asked for, as you can see. And that's fantastic. Now, in addition to that, what I could do is I could use my voice here. I've got this little Chrome extension installed, which is called Voice Control for ChatGPT, which I find very, very useful. And so now what I can do is I could say, for example, create a downloadable Word document for this worksheet. Okay, so in ChatGPT 4.0, you can now ask ChatGPT to create downloadable Word documents, PowerPoints. With the PowerPoint, it won't include images. It will just be the text outline, or PDFs or Excel spreadsheets, etc., etc. So it's now analyzing it as we speak, which is what normally happens. And it's now made a worksheet for us. So if I click on this right now, it will allow me to download this. And I'm going to click save. I then go up to the downloads folder. I click on it, and it should now launch on the screen. So again, you'd have to review this, you'd have to edit it maybe, but there we are, there it is. So just imagine what a time saver that is from the point of view of creating resources for your learners. Okay, so I think that the LLM prompting tool is a really nice way of getting a better, more scaffolded prompt rather than just using the LLM as is by writing in your prompt. Okay, I'm sure some of you are very, very skilled with prompting, but this is just another way of taking your prompting to the next level. Okay, so that's a quick way in which we can generate lesson plans and accompanying resources using AI. Okay, so in the chat, I'd love you to respond to this question. How likely are you to use ChatGPT for lesson planning? Let's see what you think. I'd love to see some responses from all the different messages in the chat. It's a bit like a fire hose, I must say. So I'm going to scroll down to the bottom and see you're saying different things like most times, likely, very likely. I use it a lot, not very likely. It's a helper, looks good, very likely. That's fantastic. So a range of opinions, which is what I would expect. I'm sure there are some of you here which are very new to using large language models, and other people who are AI fans, let's say, which is great. So we've got a real range. But I think probably if I were to put this into an Excel spreadsheet, etc., probably most people seem to be on the positive side of things, that they would use this. They're likely to use it, or regularly likely to use it. That's great. Fantastic. Thank you so much for that. So we're going to carry on. The next tool I'm going to show you is turboscribe.ai, which I'm a real big fan of. I first heard about this from Russell Stannard, who, as we all know, does many different training videos on use of different tools. And I'm very grateful to Russell for letting me know about this tool, because I'm using it all the time now. So I've also got this example clip here, which I've got available here. So what I'm going to do is show you how this works first of all. So on YouTube, this is a British Council clip. And before I go into TurboScribe, I'm just going to let you know that you can actually access most transcripts from YouTube. So most YouTube videos have transcripts. And to access the transcript, what you do is you click on the More option here, you scroll down and it says Show Transcript. Now, if I click on the Show Transcript option, then what will happen is this will come up here, but I can see that there are a few mistakes in the transcript, or a few misunderstandings, let's say, from the AI. So the AI that YouTube uses for transcribing video content is not as accurate as TurboScribe. So I'm going to show you now how to use TurboScribe. But of course, what we could do is I could copy this information like this. I could copy this. I could go into ChatGPT and I could go to a new chat, and I could say, for example, uh, uh, let me think, rewrite this transcript so it is clearer, for example, something like this. And then what it will do is it will look at this, and then it will make guesses on how it thinks that the transcript should read. Can you see? Now, if we go to a new chat and I go back to the YouTube clip, and this time I go to where it says share and copy, and then I go into TurboScribe. I'm already logged in, and with your login, every day you can do 3 transcriptions for either video or audio files, and each transcription can be up to 30 minutes long. Now, recently they added a microphone option, which means you can actually record your voice and have that transcribed as well. So again, 3 files per day, 30 minutes per file. But I'm going to click on the transcribe files option. And here you can click on the browse files option. You can then select an audio or video file as long as it's in one of these formats. But for a YouTube clip, you click on the link here. Then you paste in the link like this. As you can see, this also works for Google Drive, for other platforms. I've only tried it with Google Drive and with YouTube, but it's worked really, really well. And then I click import. What that will then do is it will extract the audio from the video file. So even if the video doesn't have a transcript, it will still work. And then here you see that you select the correct language. So I was doing a session yesterday when I was transcribing in Indonesian. So today I'm going to choose English UK. And then here you've got 3 transcription modes. You've got cheetah, dolphin, and whale. I always go for whale because it's the most accurate. And so that's the most important thing for me. And then here, if I click on this option, you see that you've got, for example, recognized speakers. This is really important if you're recording a dialogue with 2, 3, etc. speakers, because what it does is it uses what's called speaker diarization, which allows the AI to recognize who is speaking. So it will come up with speaker 1, speaker 2, speaker 1, speaker 2, and then you can download the results in, say, Word, and you can use the find and replace function in order to change speaker 1 to the name of the actual person and speaker 2 to the name of the actual person. You've also got the option to transcribe to English directly, and you've got the option to use AI to improve the background noise. If it's been recorded in a noisy environment, such as a classroom, potentially then you could use that feature as well. I'm not going to use these features now because there's only one speaker. So now I'm ready to click transcribe, and it will now start to transcribe. So you can see there that all of these I've used the whale option, and the status is showing now it's going round and round and round, and in no time at all it will be able to transcribe this video clip because it's very short. So that's fine. There we are. It's done it already. And now click on the link like this, and as you can see, the transcript is much, much more accurate than what YouTube did, which is just great. Now, I can also click on the edit transcript option like this. And now I can actually make edits. Can you see if I hover over each line, then it will give me the edit option. So let's have a quick listen and see if there are any things I need to edit.
After finishing my activity, I asked them how to deal with this problem or with this crisis. I encourage my students to brainstorm different solutions for this issues. How can we reduce emissions? How can we make the land cleaner? Some of them mentioned water conservation and energy conservation. Some of them said we have to doing like projects, for example.
Right, so that should be project, shouldn't it? So I click here, and instead of protect, it should be projects. But it's done a very good job. I'm sure you agree so far. And let's carry on. So I can carry on from this point.
Some of them said we have to doing like projects, for example, recycling stations. We shouldn't throw letters in our.
Now, it's transcribed this as letters, but I don't think it is letters. I think it's litter. So that's why I am going to change this to litter and click Save Changes. So you just click Save Changes. It then updates the transcript accordingly.
We shouldn't throw letters in our Nile, because we use this clean water to drink and to water our plants. All of them share their thoughts, their concerns, and their ideas about this solution.
Fantastic. There we are. That's amazing. Now I can download this as a Word document, etc. I can also click on the advanced export option. I could choose, for example, a Word document here, and I can choose to download the Word document with the timestamps included. So if I now click download and then click save and then go to here, I can now see that this particular transcript is all to do with the effect of teaching primary learners about the climate. So you can see it's all there. I can edit again if I wanted to, but that's what that does completely for free, which is just wonderful. Okay, now in addition to that, what I can do is I can actually click on ChatGPT, which is built into this interface, which is incredibly useful. So if I click on ChatGPT right now, you've got the option for creating a short summary, a detailed summary, a blog post, social media post, or a custom prompt. So I would like to put in the following prompt, such as you are a primary language teacher, create a lesson plan based on this topic, asking your children to have a debate around this topic. I know I've said this topic twice, but I don't want to say climate change because I want ChatGPT to pick up the fact that's what it's to do with. So now I click Generate ChatGPT Prompt, copy ChatGPT prompt, open ChatGPT. As a result of that, I can then wait for ChatGPT to load, right-click, click Paste. Here's the whole transcript plus my prompt at the top. I now send it in, and it will now create me a lesson plan aimed at primary school children. I didn't say the age of the primary school children, which I probably should have done in relation to the parameters of the prompt, but you can see now you can obviously tweak this. So in other words, you can take a YouTube clip, as long as you're using it in an educational context, you can create a transcript, you can then take that transcript, put it into ChatGPT and generate a lesson plan based on that content. And it doesn't matter if the transcript is in a different language, because ChatGPT can cope with that and can turn it into English for you, etc. You can see as well, I didn't say write this in British English. So that's why we've got words like summarize with a Z as well. So there we are. That's another idea that you can consider using TurboScribe. I hope that was clear on how it works, and I think it's really useful for the languages classroom. So again, in the chat, could you write down how could accurate transcription of audio and video files benefit you? So please engage with us, and I'd love to see your answers. So again, I'm just going to scroll down the chat, which is going incredibly quickly. And I can see some of you are saying things like it could save a lot of time. Absolutely. People have been, expressing to me joy in me showing this to them in different webinars I've been doing, because they're thinking, wow, I've been doing this manually. This is going to save so much time. I'm really grateful to for you for introducing this to me. That's just great. So yeah, so lots of you are saying it's going to save you a lot of time. I agree. But in addition to that, the fact it can create a transcript, it then means that you can then repurpose that transcript into a lesson plan, into whatever you would like, really. And there we are. Okay, that's lovely. We're going to carry on because I've got a lot to cover, but I really appreciate all your comments. Okay. Right, the next tool we're going to look at is called Mizu. I'd love to know in the chat if you've used this. I think this is very exciting. There are other tools which also allow you to make an educational chatbot, such as School AI, Gleeglish, and Tutor Lily. But with Mizu, what it allows you to do quickly and easily is generate your own chatbot, which you could use, for example, for conversation practice. That's what I'm going to demonstrate right now. So if I go to Mizu, I've already created an account. You can see on the home page here that you've got different chatbots that people have been making from around the world, which are popular within the community. You've also got examples which are perfect for high school, for middle school, and for elementary school. Even most tools, you have to be over the age of 13 to use them with parental consent. This one, it's suggesting that you can use it with younger ones. Just in relation to that, if I go to the following document, if I put in this right now and click OK, this will bring up this document, which is the Mizu student privacy policy, which is here. And you can see here that it says that Mizu is FERPA, COPPA, and GDPR compliant. And also, they have said that they are not going to sell student information or use student data to train AI models. And they're not going to use the data for targeting ads on their platform or others. So that's just wonderful to see as well. So if we go back to Mizu, I'm going to do this all live for you, and I'm going to show you how it all works. So the first thing I'm going to do is go to where it says go to my account. And having done that, we'll just wait for it to load. And sorry, I'll just do that again. I think it has done it. I'm just being impatient. There we are. So you can go to the Explore feature. You can search for different examples of different chatbots, but I'm just going to go for it straight away, and I'm going to click Build a Chatbot. Okay, I'm now going to go here and click AI Generated. Okay, there we are. And I'm now going to put in my learning objective. So because I wanted to talk about climate change, I'm going to consider that. So I'm going to give the LLM a role. So I'm going to say you are a primary teacher who wants to talk about climate change. My students will ask you questions, answer them in short, simple sentences, and always be kind and polite. Okay, so this is just one example. In other examples I've done, I've asked the LLM to play the role of a waiter in a cafe, and then you can have like a role play conversation with them. I could also say my students who are working at A1 level English. Oh, we'll ask you questions, etc. Okay, so let's see what happens here. Now I've chosen the grade level. I'm going to go for grade 5, and I'm going to click Get Ideas. Okay, so the grades are in relation to US grades, and now it's made a number of chatbots, 3 chatbots, which is what it normally does. Students can ask simple questions about climate change. The chatbot will provide kind, short answers to help them understand. Let's just go with that one. That sounds good to me. Okay, so I'm now generating the chatbot, and that's all good. I can click generate again here if I wanted to. I can wait for the picture to come up. If I don't like the picture, then I can create another picture. The AI name is EcoBot. That's fine. And this is my teacher here. And let's just stick with EcoBot. So EcoBot is my primary teacher. Okay. And then here, I click on more options. I just normally click on generate all fields, and the AI will do all the heavy lifting. So you've got, okay, it's decided it's a friendly climate change expert. Okay, that's fine. So obviously I could change that if I wanted to. That's fine. Oh, it says thumbnail cannot contain sensitive content. I have no idea what that means. I've never seen that message before. So let me just click here, and let's just put in climate change and click generate. You can also upload your own image. I said I've never seen that before, but that's fine. So you can generate another image, and hopefully that will be absolutely fine. You can see that there are guardrails in the background to make sure this is a safe tool for students to use. And you can see here that it's generated a number of different rules. Again, you can change those if you want to. The knowledge file option is that's fine now. The knowledge file option is a premium feature, which allows you to say upload a PDF, etc. And there are 2 different voices we can choose. You've got the short description here, and again, we can choose a subject. So I'm going to choose foreign languages like that, and then I'm going to click publish. Now I can choose private or public. If I choose public, it means it will be in the explore feature in Mizu, but for today I'm just going to click private, and now it's building my chatbot and it's ready to publish it. Okay, so now we're ready to go. You can see you can have up to 50 sessions per day. So 50 separate students, or the same student could do multiple sessions per day. That's very, very generous in the free account, I think. And here I'm going to click on the share option, and this comes up. You can share your chatbot with another colleague, or you can click here where it says students, and that's what I'm going to show you right now. So Mizu is completely free, but there are some premium features in this as well. So if I now click on the create option here, that will then generate a link for me in a second once I've previewed this. So we're good to go. I'm now going to click launch. Here we are. Okay. So now it's going through the safety checks again, and it will now give me the link, which I'm looking for, which is appearing right now. I click copy. I can also share the QR code with the students as well. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Microsoft Edge, because if I use Chrome again, I'm already logged in as the teacher, and I will get a different view. So I want to show you what the children would see, or the students would see. So here, this is the only personal identifiable information I need to put in. So I'm just going to put in my name and click start session. Okay. So having clicked on start session, it will then load up the chatbot, and I'll be able to see what's going to happen. Okay, so now you can also listen back to this, which is really nice. So if I press play, we can hear what EcoBot is going to say.
Hello there. I'm your friendly climate change expert. Ask me anything about climate change, and I'll help you understand it better. Let's learn together.
Lovely. So I could write in my answer, or I can use my voice. So I'm going to use my voice like this. Can you explain to me why climate change happens? Okay, it's now going to transcribe that audio for me. I'm going to listen back to it first. Can you explain to me why climate change happens? When I click on the tick, it will now transcribe it very accurately. Can you see? That's very accurate in its transcription. If your English, if there's a few mistakes in it, it will try its best to transcribe it properly. If there are a few mistakes, it still should do a very good job. If there are major mistakes, then it will do its best. But that's obviously a learning opportunity for everyone as well. And you can ask it to give you feedback on your English as well if you want to. I haven't asked for that today, but let's see what EcoBot says.
Great question, Joe. Climate change happens mainly because of greenhouse gases, like carbon dioxide, getting trapped in the Earth's atmosphere. These gases come from things like burning fossil fuels, like gas, coal, and oil, deforestation, cutting down trees, and certain agricultural practices. They cause the Earth to warm up, leading to changes in weather patterns, melting ice, and rising sea levels. What do you think might happen if the Earth keeps getting warmer?
I think it's very worrying because sometimes in the summer it's too hot and sometimes in the winter it's too cold. What can we do to help prevent climate change? So let's see what the answer is going to be from EcoBot. And we'll come up with an answer. So he's thinking about it. Here we are. And he's giving me some bullet points. Cool.
You're absolutely right, Joe. Extreme weather can be quite worrying, but there are lots of things we can do to help prevent climate change. Here are a few ideas. 1. Save energy. Turn off lights when you leave a room. 2. Use less plastic. Bring reusable bags when you shop. 3. Plant trees. They help absorb carbon dioxide. 4. Talk to friends. Share what you learn about protecting the planet. What activities do you enjoy that could help the environment?
Okay, so you get the idea. So once the student has interacted with EcoBot, they click End Session here. They can give a preference here if they want to. I normally just click Skip here, and then it will then say the session has ended. I can then minimize that screen, and I can then close that little dialog box. I can then refresh the page, and what will happen now is it will show me that I've got a grade, which is great. I've got an A star. I'm very happy about that. And it's given me a whole transcript of everything which, let's just get rid of that, everything that has happened in the dialogue. So I can hear, as the teacher, I can hear everything the student has recorded like this. Can you explain to me why climate change happens? Okay, and I've got everything that the chatbot has said, and using that information in the transcript, the AI has now generated this feedback. So this is the feedback that the teacher sees, not the student sees, but the teacher can choose to share that with the student. And all of that you can do completely for free. So I think this is a great way of encouraging students to practice their speaking at home, at school. Obviously, they would need an internet connection. It works very nicely on a mobile device, and the teacher will then get to see all the different dialogues that the student has had all in one place. They'll all appear here in one list. And as I said, you can have up to 50 sessions per day, which is just great. So hopefully that's clear on how Mizu works, but I just encourage you to explore it, to be honest with you. Okay, so could Mizu support your student speaking practice? If so, how might you integrate it into your lessons? Let's see what you think in the chat. And since the last time I looked at the chat, we've got another 100-something messages. So I will scroll my way through to see what some of the answers are that you're putting in. Thank you for all the positive messages, by the way. I would really encourage you to try this one out. Well, all of them, of course, but I think for speaking, this is very exciting. Yeah, so some of you are saying you could use this for homework. It's really helpful. You've got Gliglish as well. I've mentioned Gliglish is not quite as it's not exactly the same because you can't create your own chatbot. You just have to use the chatbots which are there, but it's a sort of equivalent to the same sort of idea. And School AI does allow you to create your own chatbot as well. Okay, that's great. Thank you. Okay, let's carry on. The next tool I'm going to show you is Diffit. Diffit allows you to create different types of differentiated reading materials based on an initial prompt, on a YouTube clip, on a web article, or you can just paste in your own text as well. So if I go to Diffit right now, and I go for a topic here, I'm going to put in climate change again, like that, making sure I spell it correctly. And this is the first option. You've got literally anything. So you just literally write in a topic. This is where you put in a YouTube clip or a web article. This is where you can put in your own text if you want to, or upload a PDF. And here, this is a new feature. You can add in, let's say, 10 words, and it will make sure those words are included in the text which it generates. And now here, you can choose the grade level. Let's go for a higher grade this time. So let's go for 10th grade. We can choose English. You've got all these different languages you can choose. And then we're going to click Generate Resources. Okay, so what it's going to do now is it's going to generate a text made up of normally 6 different sources. So I'll just wait for it to do that. And it will also make, for example, a glossary of keywords, some multiple choice questions, and so on and so forth. So it's made this, it's found this image here. It's made an adapted reading passage. It says show sources. So I can click on that, and you can see now there are 6 different sources, which are here, all numbered. So I can then see very clearly where the AI has taken the information. You've got a summary here. You've got key vocab words with examples in context, in sentences, which I think is very useful. You've got some multiple choice questions. You've got short answer questions, and you've got open-ended prompts. So all of that you can do for free. That's great. There are some premium options. If I just show you very quickly, if I click here, see all export options, and I click, for example, on vocabulary, then I could choose this one here, closed reading workbook. So these are templates that come with Diffit, and I can also create a Google Slides presentation for this or a PowerPoint. I can click customize activity, which means I could then, for example, get rid of, if I didn't want the first slide, I can get rid of that like that and just go straight into the different sections. So I've got here key vocab, closed reading, multiple choice, short answer, etc. And then once I'm happy with this, I click export activity, and it will then generate that for us. So everything I've showed you so far is free, but this is a premium feature. But if you sign up, you get a trial, I think, for a short while, so you can try it out as well. Okay, so it's now just generating the activity, and I'm not paid to say this, by the way, just to be very clear. I just wanted to share that with you. Okay, so it's just generating the activity right now. So this will be the Google Slides presentation, which is about to come up. And then in addition to that, you've got the option to download as a PowerPoint. So if I click on Open Google Slides, you'll be able to see what it looks like. Here we are. And the first slide is always the teacher instruction page, which you can delete if you want to. And then you've got all the different slides, which are just about to come up. That's the beauty of doing these things live. And here we are. Here we are. So it's all there. And then you can then run the slideshow, etc. And you've got all the information there. Okay. So that was a very quick run through of Diffit for creating differentiated materials. So again, in what ways could generating differentiated reading materials improve student engagement and comprehension in your classes? Feel free to write your feedback in the chat for me, please. That would be great. So yes, Andrea, Diffit is free. Okay, everything I've shown you so far is free, apart from that premium export option. But just generating that summary, those multiple choice questions, all of that is free. So in other words, in the same lesson, you could have, let's say, create a number of texts for different students in the same class if you've got mixed ability. Yeah. So I can see that someone's written creating customized reading passages. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's great. Okay, I'm going to carry on because I'm aware of time. So the next one I'm going to show you is Help a Bird and Immersive Reader. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to ChatGPT and I'm going to do the following. I'm going to say, write a 100-word text on the topic of climate change aimed at B1 level learners of English. Okay, that's a very basic prompt. So obviously I could do I could, make the prompt a lot more complicated, but it's just going to give me a quick little text. Now, what I've got open here is Help a Bird. This is a Chrome extension, which allows me to do the following. I install it. I can then select the text like this, right click it and click where it says Help a Bird, and then choose where it says View an Immersive Reader. So Immersive Reader is a tool which comes bundled with Microsoft resources such as Word, PowerPoint, etc. But it's also built into this tool called Help a Bird, because Help a Bird has licensed them to do, has got the license to do that. So I can now press play and have a listen to the modular pronunciation like this.
Climate change is a major global issue caused by human activities. It happens when the Earth's temperature rises due to an increase in greenhouse gases.
Okay, I can click on the voice settings. I can change the speed like this. I can change from female to male. So it sounds like this.
Gases, like carbon dioxide, from cars, factories, and deforestation.
Okay, etc. I can go back to the standard speed. I can also click up here under the text preferences, and I can change the text size like this. As you can see, I can increase the spacing like that. That could be useful for dyslexic learners, having more space between the lines. I can choose different fonts as well. I can choose a background color. So with a yellow background or a blue background, for example, some dyslexic learners might find that easier to access. I can click on the grammar options here. I can choose the different parts of speech like this. You can see now that all the nouns are highlighted in pink, all the verbs in red, all the adjectives in green, and so on and so forth. I can also click on the syllables option, which could help me with pronunciation, such as experiencing. And I've got the labels as well. So I've got ADJ for adjective, ADV for adverb, and so on and so forth. I can also click on here, which is the reading preferences. And I've got what's called line focus like this. So I can press play now.
Deforestation. As a result, we are experiencing more extreme weather, such.
Okay, so everything is blanked out apart from that one sentence like that. For some reason, recently, when you do that, you can't see the menu at the top here. So I just have to refresh the page and just do it again very quickly, and we'll then go from there. So right-click, help a bird, and view an immersive reader. It will then launch immersive reader. I go back to reading preferences, and here we are. So that was line focus. You've also got the picture dictionary. So if I click on a word like weather, you get different images which then come up, which is obviously very useful. Or if I click on a word like ice, you'll get pictures for ice as well. And you can also translate into different languages. So if I were to choose, for example, French, and I go by word, I could click on, for example, earth. And it will then get up. That's not right. Hang on. Let's click on temperature. There we are. Then you've got the French translation.
Température.
Okay, with a good model of pronunciation, and the English.
Temperature.
Okay, there we are. Now, what it doesn't have in Help a Bird is what's called Reading Coach. And that is only available at the moment in Microsoft Word, although apparently it's coming to Help a Bird soon. So if I go to here and click paste. It's just asking me to do that. Let me just do that manually with the keyboard shortcuts. There we are. And now if I go to, so I'm in Word now, Word Online, and if I click on the View menu and go to Immersive Reader, you'll see that the interface is exactly the same as I've shown you a moment ago in Help a Bird, which is completely free. This would require an Office 365 subscription, but if I click here, you've got the Reading Coach option. So if I click here now, you can see this is the play button, and it will now go to the microphone, and now I can do the following. Start reading. Here we go. So, climate change is a major global issue caused by human activities. It happens when the Earth's temperature rises due to an increase in greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide from cars, factories, and deforestation. As a result, we are experiencing more extreme weather, such as heat waves, floods, and stronger storms. Polar ice caps are melting, leading to rising sea levels, which threaten coastal areas. To fight climate change, we need to reduce carbon emissions, use renewable energy like wind and solar panel, and protect forests. Everyone can help by making small changes like recycling and saving energy. So I now click on that. It's given me, wow, 98% accuracy. I spent 34 seconds reading it, and it's given me 171 correct words per minute. And I've got 2 words to practice. Okay, so if I click on practice words, and I then wait for this to launch.
Practice makes progress. Select any word to keep growing your skills.
Okay, so I click on this word here.
When you're ready, press the microphone and read the word out loud.
And I press on the loudspeaker.
Temperature.
And then I try to say it back. Temperature.
Keep trying.
Oh.
You're almost there.
Okay, I'm going to go to the next one.
Power.
Power. There we are. So sometimes it can be a bit finicky, but it's quite good, I think, for helping with pronunciation. So that's giving you a little flavor of how that works. Okay, that's Help a Bird and Reading Coach. So how might Immersive Reader improve reading comprehension in your classroom? Could you give me a quick thought on this, if that's okay? I can see that Mahmood is saying great. Amazing from Yanling, I think it is. Lots of you are saying amazing, very good. Okay, let's just carry on because I've still got things to do. Right, the next one I'm going to show you is the image accessibility creator, which is great for visual learning. I'm going to create an image using I can't draw, which is a feature in Padlet now. So if I double click on the screen like this, and I put in my name like this, and then I click on the +12 option, and you'll notice that this will give me access to all the things I can now do in Padlet. And the one I'm going to go for today is I can't draw. I'm now going to put in a prompt such as climate change. Okay. And I'm now going to click on the arrow here, and it will now create 4 images to do with climate change. Let's go for this one here. So I'm going to click on this on the polar bear, wait for it to launch, click publish. And now here's my picture of the polar bear. I'm now going to click on that, and I'm going to launch what's called Snip and Sketch to take a screenshot. So I click new, and I make a screenshot by dragging over the image like this. I then press save, and I save it to my desktop. I'm now going to go to this tool, which is the Image Accessibility Creator from Arizona State University. And I click Browse Files. I go to where it says Desktop. I click on the image. I wait for it to upload, and then I click Create Image Details. From there, this is amazing, I think. It uses the AI to give me a written description of that image. So that's great, obviously, for accessibility, because you can show students the text, or based on the text, you can then create another activity. So you could, for example, go to a new chat in ChatGPT, and you could say, for example, based on the following image description, create an activity for A1 level learners of English, which is helping them to write about climate change using a scaffold and some keywords. Okay, I'm now going to paste in the description, send it in, and now what ChatGPT should do is it will create an activity for me based on that image. Again, I could then ask it to make a downloadable worksheet for me, etc., etc. So you can see how powerful that is. You can ask ChatGPT now to tell you what's happening in an image, which it can do, but it's not as accurate as the Image Accessibility Creator. And officially, that's using what's called Vision, which is a feature in a new AI feature called Vision, which allows you to understand what's happening in images and create a written description. There we are. So that was pretty amazing, wasn't it, I think? And let's carry on. How could the Image Accessibility Creator enhance inclusivity in your classes? Are there other ways in which you could use it? I do appreciate I'm going quite quickly, but I've got a lot to cover. We are recording the session. You can watch it back as many times as you want to with your finger on the pause button. So you'll be able to watch it back as many times as you'd like to, and learn about all these different tools practically, and try them out for yourself. Okay, so I can see that some of you are saying things like good for promoting autonomy, good for explaining and describing, good for sight words, matching sentences with pictures. I agree with all of these. That's wonderful. Okay, so to wrap up now, which tool do you find most applicable to your context that I've shown you? So we've looked at ChatGPT, TurboScribe, Mizu, Diffit, Helperbird, and Image Accessibility Creator. Could you put in the chat which tool do you feel would be most applicable to your context? So I can see we've got fans of TurboScribe, Mizu, Diffit and Mizu, all of them. Helperbird. Okay, that's great. Lovely. Okay. So what challenges might you face in integrating AI into your teaching? Could you write some responses to that? What challenges might you face in integrating AI into your teaching? I can see some of you have written lack of internet, which obviously is a huge issue. Not all students will have access to these tools. That's right. And so on and so forth. Okay, that's great. That's great. Network problems. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Okay, so we're now going to do some more Q&A. So we covered a range of AI tools today. I'd love to hear any questions or thoughts you have. Let's open the floor for Q&A session. And just before we go into that, here are some links to, for example, my Facebook group, which has been shared in the chat as well, and some other links as well. So I'm going to go back to my previous slide and hand back to Melissa. Thank you, Melissa.
Hi, Joe. Thanks very much. We have notebooks full of all the tools and all the tips. And I just want to say a huge thank you. There's so much practical advice here. And what you said is really important. We're sharing the recording, everyone, so don't stress. Lots of people are saying comments. Can you share that again? Can you share that? I didn't catch it. Exactly. Finger on the pause button, right? That's what we'll do. There's just so much to cover. I think that's the exciting thing about these times, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So, let's see if we've got some questions for everyone. Joe, you can stop sharing your
Okay,
look at what
no
questions
problem.
have come
I
in.
will stop sharing. Here we go. Great.
So, well, first, congratulations on your A+ star in music. You got some good grades today. I I had a question from Nada, and she asks about Mizu. Will it work if students are making errors?
Yes, it
If their
will.
grammar
So,
isn't great, is he going to understand them?
yeah, so as I mentioned when I was presenting, essentially, if the students make some mistakes, if they're small mistakes, then the transcription will still do a very good transcription. If there are major mistakes, then it will show that in the transcription. But also,
Oh,
um, from Mizu themselves, they've said that if the level of the language is lower than what would be expected based on, say, the prompt, it will automatically change its the language it's using in order to accommodate that. So there's that differentiation built in. Apparently, this is from someone from Mizu in a webinar that I saw about using Mizu. But you could, as a learner, you could ask the chatbot for feedback on your English, and it would then absolutely give you feedback on that. I have tried that myself as well. Yeah, but I would just encourage people to have
okay.
a play and see how it copes.
That's really good advice. Let's go to a question from Fernando. And Fernando asks, what should we be careful about if we're generating AI lesson plans or activities? What's your perspective on that, Joe?
Yeah, so I think whenever you create anything with AI, lesson plans or resources or what have you, then you need to make sure that you check everything for accuracy and for
Mm,
potential bias, stereotyping, etc. In the prompt that you put in, make sure that you talk about your context in detail,
mhm.
I think, so as much information as you give as possible, but that doesn't mean including personal information within your prompt. So you wouldn't put in, for example, the actual names of the students and things like that, or anything to do with where they live or so on and so forth. But the more accurate the prompt, which is why I think that LLM prompting tool I showed is a nice scaffold to help you improve your prompt. So that's what I would recommend. But always check everything for accuracy and bias.
Okay, yeah, that's really good advice. And adapting, right? Like I've been using some AIs to generate kind of activity ideas, and it's like a basis for me. And
That's right.
then I work from it, right? That's what I would recommend to people as well. It helps me get clear kind of writer's block a
That's
little
right. You
bit.
can see the AI as a type of thinking buddy, if you like, or learning buddy, or a way of brainstorming or having a soundboard to sort of put your ideas in. And I find anyway, it's easy to say, to recognize what you don't like as opposed to what you do like. So, even if
Oh,
you've really got an idea, you sort of start putting your idea in, and then based on what ChatGPT is coming up with or another LLM, you can say, oh, I don't like that. But actually, that's a really good idea. I did that 5 years ago. I can use this resource. So it's a great way of sparking
yeah.
your memory on things that you've done previously, maybe.
Yeah, I like that term thinking buddy. That's really nice. That is exactly how I use it for how I use it. Um, and let's go to a question from Marina. And Marina asks, do you have any advice on writing short, clear prompts? I think she's probably thinking about Chat GTP here.
So I think go straight to the point. I think you don't need to say, for example, please could you create a lesson plan on, or whatever it might be. Just go straight for the imperative. Just go for create a lesson plan on. So you need to think
Yeah.
about um, direct language and consider different parameters that you want to put in. For example, a lesson plan on the topic, climate change, the age of the students, their context, and so on and so forth. I think asking the LLM to play a role is really powerful. So you are an experienced English teacher working at primary level, secondary level, adult level, etc. I want you to or create a lesson plan on. So I think there are a number of different frameworks that are out there that you can easily find, including in my Facebook group. But I think that in general, just be clear, concise, and explicit in your prompting, considering the parameters, considering asking the LLM to play a role. I think that's what I found to be the most successful. You can also do things like, could you, ask the LLM to rate your response, for example, or supposedly if you use emotional language, if you say, it would really mean a lot to me if you could write this lesson plan on climate change. Apparently, then that makes the answer more accurate. I don't know if that's true, but it's quite fun to do it anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I think I always say please at the end. I don't know why, but
yeah, apparently
maybe that's helping.
You don't need to say please and thank you, because it's a machine essentially. It just wants to understand those key words, and it scans its database looking for patterns based on what you've put in, based on the huge data set which it has access to, and then it tries to churn out a response. So saying please and thank you is not imperative, but some people say that if they hear someone talking to an LLM in a rude way or direct way, that could influence the way they think they should talk to other people, which I think is a fair point. But actually, you don't need to say please and thank you. I used to do that, but then again, I watched another webinar saying you don't need to do that, so I stopped doing it now.
Well, looking at the time, I'm sorry, Joe, don't have any more time, but I'm going to tell everyone, don't worry, he's coming back. Actually, both our plenary presenters today are coming back, so you can join Jill and Joshua Underwood on Monday, the 23rd of September at 11 o'clock UK time on the Teaching English Facebook page. We'll share that in the comments and in the chat for you, because we've seen so many questions that we've already organised another event to answer them. So everyone, don't worry about that. And between now and then, try out the tools and then come with more questions. That's a good way to make this a real learning experience. Well, thanks so much, Joe. Have you had a good time?
I've had an amazing time. Thank you so much to the British Council, to you, Melissa, to the amazing audience, and all those questions, etc. I tried my best to answer everything and to show lots of practical ideas you can use straight away. Just choose one tool. That's what I would recommend. Just choose one tool and try it out. Don't try everything, otherwise you'll get overwhelmed. The students will get overwhelmed. And I look forward to seeing you back at the next session in a short time, in a couple of weeks' time. That'll be amazing.
Great. We'll see you then. So thanks, Joe. Thanks to Naomi, who was moderating on Facebook, and thanks to Joanna, who was moderating here in Zoom. We'll see you in 15 minutes for the next session with Joe. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.